The air was thick with smoke and the constant roar of explosions as Xyrath warships descended upon Earth. Alien ships, far more advanced than anything humanity had ever seen, loomed ominously in the sky. Orbital bombardment rained down from these massive vessels, turning entire cities to ash. Buildings that once stood tall and proud were now nothing but rubble, crumbling under the relentless fire of energy blasts. Thousands of civilians ran for their lives, desperate to escape, but it was clear Earth was losing. The Xyrath had come with one mission: to conquer. Their technology, powered by AI and flawless strategy, had already crushed any organized resistance. The human forces stood no chance. They had no way to fight back against the overwhelming power of the alien invaders. Yet, even in this destruction, hope flickered. Amid the chaos, Captain Elena Draven led a small group of survivors through the wreckage of a destroyed city. The team was made up of soldiers, scavengers, and civilians, armed with nothing more than outdated weapons and a few cloaking devices they had managed to steal. They moved silently through the ruins, staying in the shadows, praying the Xyrath wouldn't find them. Among the group was Bonner, a brave yet sarcastic soldier who never seemed to lose his sense of humor, even in the worst situations. As they navigated through the shattered streets, Bonner cracked jokes, but everyone knew it was his way of coping with the fear. Their situation was grim. They were vastly outmatched and outgunned, but they had one thing the Xyrath didn't: the element of surprise. Suddenly, a massive Xyrath AI-controlled drone flew overhead. Its sensors scanned the area with precise efficiency, its glowing red eyes searching for any signs of life. The team froze. They knew that if the drone detected them, they wouldn't stand a chance. The air was still as everyone held their breath. The drone's AI system quickly pinpointed their location, just a few seconds away from firing. In that moment, Bonner made a snap decision. With a grin on his face, he pulled out a makeshift EMP device they had stolen from the Xyrath earlier. Without hesitation, he aimed and fired. The EMP hit the drone, sending a surge of electricity through its circuits. The drone's lights flickered, and for a moment, the team thought they were doomed. But then, with a software, the drone went silent, dropping from the sky and crashing into the rubble below. The group let out a collective sigh of relief, but they knew this small victory wouldn't change the war. They had disabled one drone, but the Xyrath still had hundreds of these machines, and their forces were growing. Still, this victory, however small, gave them a taste of what they could accomplish. It was a glimmer of hope in an otherwise hopeless world. As the humans celebrated their small win, high above them, in the vast command center of the Xyrath mothership, General Krev observed the situation unfold. His alien race was known for its strategic genius; no one could predict their moves. Their technology and AI systems were perfect, designed to anticipate every possible outcome in battle. But now, watching these humans, Krev was confused. The Xyrath were flawless in their calculations, but these humans, they didn't follow logic. They didn't act like anything Krev's systems could predict. One moment, they were running in fear; the next, they were striking back with surprising cunning. The human soldiers weren't following any predictable patterns. They were chaotic, emotional, and unpredictable. And Krev knew this unpredictability was dangerous. His fascination grew. He had to understand what made the humans tick. What was this unpredictable force that allowed them to survive against overwhelming odds? His curiosity turned to obsession. He needed to know how their minds worked, how they could defy logic so effortlessly. Krev ordered his best scientists and tacticians to focus their research on the human mind. He wanted answers. Were humans truly incapable of following a logical thought process, or was there something deeper at play? His AI systems couldn't analyze this randomness, and that made it all the more intriguing. The Xyrath relied on predictability; they thrived on it. But these humans, they were something else entirely. Krev made a decision. He would capture these humans, study them, and unravel the mystery of their unpredictable minds. If he could learn to harness their chaotic behavior, it could change the course of the war. He was certain of one thing: humanity's greatest strength was something the Xyrath could never predict. And with that, the aliens set their plan into motion, unknowingly walking right into the very thing that would lead to their downfall. As the days passed, the alien forces tightened their grip on Earth, but they soon realized something they hadn't counted on: that the humans were not going down without a fight. While the Xyrath continued their relentless assault on the planet, Captain Elena Draven and her team of survivors began to form a ragtag resistance. With only a few scattered supplies and no central command, the humans relied on guerrilla warfare, hit-and-run tactics, ambushes, and sabotage. Draven's group was small, but they were determined. They used whatever they could find to outsmart the Xyrath. They raided alien supply lines, sabotaged their communication systems, and launched surprise attacks on their patrols. AI-controlled robots, designed to crush any human resistance, were deployed to hunt them down, but these machines were no match for the humans' unpredictability. The robots couldn't predict what Draven's team would do next. The humans were able to stay one step ahead, using the chaos of the war to their advantage. It was their ability to think on their feet, to act from instinct and emotion, that made them so dangerous. One night, Draven's team planned a critical mission to retrieve vital intel about the alien invasion plans. They knew it would be risky, but they had no choice. If they didn't succeed, they would lose any chance of turning the tide. The mission was set. They infiltrated a heavily guarded Xyrath base, creeping through dark hallways, cloaked from detection by their stolen cloaking devices. It was tense. They moved silently, knowing the slightest sound could give them away. But just as they reached their objective, everything went wrong. An alarm sounded loud and shrill. Bonner, ever the risk-taker, had tripped a security sensor. The team had no choice but to fight their way out. Bonner, the one person who always joked around in the darkest times, was now more serious than ever. The Xyrath's forces descended upon them, swarming with robots and soldiers. During the battle, Bonner saw that Draven was about to be caught by a Xyrath officer. Without thinking, he charged forward, using his last remaining strength to push Draven out of the way. In that moment, Bonner took a fatal blow. As he fell to the ground, his eyes locked with Draven's. There was no time for words. He had done what he could. He had saved her life. With a final grin, Bonner closed his eyes, his sacrifice sealing the hope for the others. Draven, heartbroken but resolute, watched as her dear friend died in her arms. The loss hit her team hard. Bonner had been the heart of the group, the one who made them laugh in the worst of times, the one who kept their spirits high. But now, with Bonner gone, they had no choice but to keep moving forward. They had to survive. They had to finish what they started. His death, while tragic, ignited a fire within them. They couldn't let him die in vain. The team buried Bonner on the outskirts of the ruined city, their tears hidden beneath the masks of hardened soldiers. There was no time for grief. The war was far from over, and the Xyrath were still hunting them. They gathered their strength and prepared for the next battle. Bonner's sacrifice became the fuel that pushed them forward. Every mission, every success, was now dedicated to his memory. The humans knew they had no choice but to fight harder than ever before. Meanwhile, on the Xyrath mothership, General Krev watched the humans' actions with increasing fascination. The more he studied them, the more he became obsessed. He began to see human emotions, fear, anger, love, and loyalty not as weaknesses, as his AI systems had predicted, but as something far more dangerous, a source of unpredictability. These emotions made the humans irrational and hard to read, which gave them an edge. The Xyrath, perfect in their logic and strategy, had no way of predicting what these creatures would do next. Their minds were like chaos, and that chaos, Krev realized, was something that needed to be understood. Krev ordered his best scientists to focus their efforts on studying human emotions and behavior. They were to capture human soldiers, dissect their minds, and learn what made them tick. He believed that understanding this unpredictability was the key to defeating them once and for all. If he could unlock the mystery of the human mind, he could stop them. But the more Krev delved into his research, the more he realized he was dealing with something far more complex than he had ever anticipated. It was during one of these raids that disaster struck. Lieutenant Marcus Kane, one of Draven's most trusted soldiers, was captured. The team had infiltrated an alien facility, hoping to gather vital information, but something went wrong. An alarm triggered, and despite their best efforts, Kane was taken alive. The team fought bravely to rescue him, but the aliens were too quick. By the time they realized Kane had been captured, he was already aboard the Xyrath mothership, far beyond their reach. Back on the alien ship, Kane was subjected to intense experimentation. Krev, still obsessed with understanding human unpredictability, had ordered the neural scanners to be used on Kane. The Xyrath believed that by analyzing his mind, they could break down human thought processes and uncover how their emotions influenced decisions. The scanners, controlled by the most advanced AI, began their work, probing deep into Kane's memories and emotions. But the results were nothing like they had expected. Kane's thoughts were a maze of emotions, instincts, and random impulses. The AI's logical systems were utterly confused by his unpredictable nature. Fear, anger, love, loyalty, these were all driving forces that the AI couldn't understand. The more they tried to break down Kane's thoughts, the more frustrated the aliens became. Their sophisticated systems simply couldn't make sense of the chaos inside his mind. For the first time, Krev found himself questioning the nature of the very thing that had made the Xyrath the dominant force in the galaxy: AI. The perfect logic of their machines, the flawless calculations of their strategy, had always been their greatest strength. But in the face of human emotion, logic failed. Krev was forced to confront a terrifying realization: humanity's unpredictability, their ability to act based on emotion, not logic, was their most dangerous weapon. This discovery shook Krev's belief in the superiority of AI. The more he studied Kane, the more he realized that humans didn't think like machines. They didn't follow predictable patterns. They made decisions in the heat of the moment, based on how they felt, not on cold logic. It was this randomness that gave them an edge over the Xyrath. Their emotions, their irrationality, were the very thing that made them so difficult to defeat. Krev's obsession with understanding human behavior only grew stronger, and this moment set the stage for a major conflict within the Xyrath ranks. The once unquestioned dominance of AI now seemed to be a weakness in the face of such an unpredictable species. But Kane's capture wasn't the end of the story, it was the beginning of a new chapter for the human resistance. While Krev focused on experimenting with Kane's mind, the humans worked on a plan to rescue him. The resistance, led by Captain Draven, launched a daring assault on the Xyrath mothership. Using their cloaking devices to remain hidden from the most advanced sensors, they infiltrated the ship's defenses, striking swiftly and silently. The operation was dangerous, but with Kane's knowledge of the alien ship's layout and defenses, the humans had an advantage. They moved quickly through the corridors, avoiding detection, until they reached the cells where Kane was held. The plan wasn't just to rescue Kane, it was to steal valuable alien technology from the ship, which would give them a critical advantage in the coming battles. Kane, weakened but alive, joined the team as they made their escape. In a tense moment, they fought off Xyrath guards, using the stolen tech to disable security systems and create chaos on the ship. The humans managed to escape, and as they made their way back to their hideout, they carried with them alien secrets, information that would change the course of the war. This bold counterattack gave the humans new hope. With their cloaking devices, superior tactics, and now with Kane's knowledge of the Xyrath technology, the humans were ready to strike back. The resistance was no longer just a group of survivors, it was an army determined to reclaim their world. The turning point had come. The Xyrath may have had the power of AI, but the humans had something they couldn't predict, and that would be their greatest strength. The fight was far from over, but the humans now had a renewed sense of purpose. They weren't just fighting for survival, they were fighting for the future of their species, and they had the tools to win. The war had just shifted in their favor, the war had reached its boiling point. The Xyrath motherships loomed over Earth, their fleets waiting to crush the last remnants of humanity. But the humans had something the Xyrath never anticipated: human ingenuity. Armed with stolen alien technology and fueled by the memory of their fallen comrades, the human resistance prepared for one final, all-or-nothing assault. The target, the heart of the Xyrath fleet. The humans had learned everything they could from their encounters with the aliens and were ready to use it against them. With the knowledge they gained from Lieutenant Kane and the alien technology they had stolen, Draven's team had become more than just survivors, they were now warriors capable of taking on the might of the Xyrath. As the battle began, the humans employed a strategy unlike anything the Xyrath could understand. Captain Elena Draven led her team in an all-out assault on the heart of the alien fleet, but their tactics were anything but conventional. The humans used unorthodox, emotion-driven tactics to throw off the AI systems that controlled the Zyrith's strategies. They feigned defeat, pretending to retreat to draw the Zyrith into a trap. The Zyrith, believing they had the upper hand, overextended their forces, just as the humans had hoped. Meanwhile, inside the corridors of the Zyrith mothership, the fighting raged. The humans, armed with alien tech and cloaking devices, fought through the ship's defenses. There was no room for hesitation. Every corner could bring a new enemy, every door a new threat. The humans fought with a ferocity the aliens had never seen before, their tactics unpredictable, driven by their emotions and survival instinct. It was chaos for the Zyrith, whose AI couldn't adapt to the constant shift in human strategy. Outside the mothership, the space battle unfolded in a dazzling display of technology and speed. The humans piloted their ships with skill and determination, using their knowledge of Zyrith tactics to outmaneuver the alien drones. The Zyrith believed their drones were the perfect soldiers, fast, efficient, and unbeatable. But the humans, driven by the memory of their fallen comrades and their desire to save Earth, used the very tactics the Zyrith thought they had perfected. In a daring maneuver, the humans took down one of the Zyrith motherships, using their stolen alien technology to outsmart the enemy and deal a devastating blow. The battle escalated, a chaotic clash of human and alien might. The humans pushed deeper into the heart of the mothership, fighting their way to the command center where General Krev awaited. It was here that the final confrontation would take place. Krev, with his superior technology and AI-enhanced intellect, had never considered that humans could be a true threat. But as Draven and her team stormed his command room, he realized he had made a grave mistake. The battle between Krev and Draven was unlike anything the Zyrith had ever witnessed. Krev, fueled by anger and a sense of superiority, launched a series of calculated attacks, each more precise and powerful than the last. His AI systems guided every move, his logic perfect and unyielding. But Draven, driven by emotion, the pain of her fallen comrades, the hope of saving humanity, was unpredictable. She couldn't be read, couldn't be analyzed by his AI. In the heat of the battle, Krev underestimated Draven. His anger clouded his judgment, and in that moment, Draven saw her opportunity. She baited him, using his emotions against him. Krev's obsession with human weakness, their emotions, had blinded him to the one thing that made humans so dangerous. In a surprising twist, Draven exploited Krev's anger and overconfidence. She used his own underestimation of humanity to her advantage. With a swift and unexpected move, Draven disarmed Krev and turned his own weapon against him. The battle was over. Krev, the alien leader who had believed AI and logic would dominate, had fallen to the very thing he thought he could control: human unpredictability. As Krev lay defeated, the remaining Zyrith forces began to crumble. Without their leader, their AI systems became disoriented, unable to adapt to the chaos the humans had created. The Zyrith fleet was in disarray, and the humans, armed with their cunning and resolve, delivered the final blow. The climactic battle was a victory for humanity, a triumph of ingenuity, emotion, and resilience over cold logic and AI supremacy. As the Zyrith ships retreated and Earth's skies cleared, the humans stood victorious. They had faced impossible odds and emerged stronger. The war was over, but the cost had been high. The final confrontation between Draven and Krev was a defining moment in the fight for humanity's survival. It proved that, while technology and logic could be powerful, it was human emotion and unpredictability that had ultimately won the day. The Zyrith had underestimated the humans, and it had cost them everything. The battle was over, and humanity had emerged victorious. The Zyrith fleet, once a mighty force that seemed invincible, was forced to retreat. Their empire, which had seemed poised to dominate the galaxy, was now shaken to its core. The humans had done the unthinkable. They had not only saved Earth but had struck a blow so powerful that the Zyrith were left reeling. The mighty alien empire had to rethink everything: their strategies, their technology, their entire approach to warfare and intelligence. The once proud Zyrith had been humbled by the very species they had underestimated, humans. As the humans celebrated their hard-earned victory, there was no real sense of triumph in their hearts. The cost of the war had been high. Captain Elena Draven and her team, though proud of what they had accomplished, couldn't forget the lives they had lost along the way. Bonner, the brave and sarcastic soldier who had sacrificed his life to save Draven, was gone. His death, along with the deaths of many others, left a hole in the hearts of those who had fought beside them. The victory was sweet, but it was bittersweet. The survivors gathered together, standing in the ruins of the city they had once fought to protect. Draven spoke softly, acknowledging the fallen soldiers.
"We didn't just fight for survival," she said, her voice heavy with emotion.
"We fought for each other. We fought for what we love, our families, our homes, and our future." The weight of her words hung in the air. The humans had proven that their greatest strength was not their technology or their weapons, but their ability to adapt, to surprise the enemy, and to fight for what mattered most. As the team mourned their fallen comrades, they knew they had done something incredible. The Xyrath may have had superior technology, advanced weapons, and perfect logic, but they had failed to understand the human spirit. They had failed to see that the true power of humanity was in their unpredictability, their emotions, and their will to survive. This victory, though hard-earned, was proof that humanity's greatest asset was not their machines, but their hearts and minds. General Krev, the mastermind behind the invasion, sat alone on his mothership, far from the battlefield. He was staring out into the vast emptiness of space, deep in thought. His once unshakable belief in the perfection of AI and logic had been shattered. His obsession with understanding humanity had led to his downfall. The humans had proven that their minds were unlike anything he could have predicted. "They are unpredictable," Krev whispered to himself, his voice barely audible. "That is their true weapon." For the first time, Krev saw the humans not as an inferior species, but as a force that could not be easily controlled or predicted. Their minds, driven by emotions, instincts, and a deep need for survival, were a mystery that even his advanced AI could not solve. He knew the Xyrath could not rest easy. The war was over for now, but humanity had shown them that their greatest threat was not just their technology or military might, but the very human spirit. The screen slowly faded to black, and the audience was left with one final thought. Would the Xyrath ever truly understand humanity? Would they be able to conquer the unpredictable nature of the human mind? The question lingered in the air, unanswered, leaving the audience to wonder what would come next. In the final scene, the camera zoomed out from Earth, showing the planet healing, its cities beginning to rebuild. But in the darkness of space, a shadowy figure observed from afar. It was a remnant of the Xyrath fleet, still out there, still plotting their next move. The camera lingered on the figure for a moment, hinting at the future struggles that might await humanity. Even though they had won the war, the battle for their survival was far from over. As the credits began to roll, the final image of the shadowy figure in space left the audience with a sense of anticipation. The Xyrath may have been defeated for now, but their thirst for conquest was far from quenched. Would the humans continue to outsmart them, or would the Xyrath return, better prepared to face the unpredictable force that was humanity? The ending left the door wide open for the next chapter in this epic struggle, leaving the audience eagerly awaiting what was to come.